YouTube? We are back. So we're doing a Q&A. I was supposed to do it a long time ago. I just been kind of focused on putting out the other content. So now I feel like I'm charging my car at Tesla, and I'm like sitting here. I'm like, I got 50 minutes, so why not answer some questions that we haven't answered? So let's get. I got some other ones that was sent to me as well. But let's get started because I have a lot. We're not going to go through all of them today. No, it's not possible. But we're going to make this video short and sweet as possible. So, first question: mental state since moving to Dallas. So my mental state moving to Dallas was good. I was in a transitional period, coming from Nashville to Dallas. I don't think I was like in a bad space. I was just really trying to figure out like what was next, like what was like my next move, making sure that my next move was my best move. That was kind of like my main thing. Now to add on to that, since coming here, it's been kind of up and down. I think like when I first got here after the first year, I was still getting acclimated and still trying to figure out what was what. And as the years kind of progress and how things change for me in my personal life, for my mental and emotional and my physical, everything has changed. Like even like in my employer, stuff has changed as well. So with that being said, it's made it a little more harder. It's put me in a spot where I'm more so looking to leave Dallas. I think if I had like a wife, my daughter, whatever, and I was living here, and I stayed in Frisco or whatever, I think it would give me like the best balance possible. Because Dallas is a great city. I think for like what I'm doing, like career-wise, and also transition like for like my social media content as well, I think it's beneficial that I go somewhere outside of Dallas just to kind of get some more scope. Also from my professional standpoint, I'm kind of looking for like the next level. Looking to see like what's next. We had some things that kind of happened like within my corporation that shifted my perception and kind of like what makes more sense for me. And current state, it makes more sense for me to look at other options and find ways to continue to grow my career in my professional life, whether that be for my actual employer or my content creating. So I'm really big on being uncomfortable because I believe that being uncomfortable promotes growth. Right now, I don't feel that. I feel very comfortable. I'm like, yeah, I'm here. I'm in Dallas. I'm getting known. There's not that many male creators that kind of create on like the level that I do when it comes to like fashion and stuff like that. So it makes it, I don't know, it just makes it very like what's next. And I think like me going to like a Houston or me going to like a LA or somewhere that's going to put me back in the game essentially. Like actually, I'm not going to say that it's going to present challenge. Well, yes, it's going to present challenge for me essentially. But also like I have other creators that would be like in LA that I have to kind of like compete with, you know what I'm saying? And I think competition always keeps you hungry. Right now, like I said, I'm still hungry, but it's kind of like, what else? Like, there's nothing left at the table, essentially. That's what I feel like. So I don't know. Like, my mental state currently is not well. My emotional state also is not well. My physical, I'm trying to get that in balance as well. So I'm doing things to kind of like counter it as much as possible. So we're trying, but I am looking to leave Dallas and kind of venture off into more and to continue to grow and everything else few and far between. So. Why do you fast? I fast more for an emotional and mental balance. I think the offset with that is your body receives kind of like the positive effects of fasting, which is kind of like using old cells that are no longer in use or can't be used, and like regenerating those for energy. And of course, like weight loss, water weight loss, all that. Your body goes into a deep form of the ketosis as well, and when your body does that, you're just burning fat. for energy. So after that like 48 to like 72 hour window, your body's cooking. Everything you're doing is like you're in like a calorie deficit times 50 for the most part. So for me, anytime that I feel like I'm mentally imbalanced, or I'm eating poorly, or I'm doing this, or work is stressing me out, or people are stressing me out, relationships, whatever, whether it be like personal relationships, friend relationships, when I start to feel like I'm being off balance, I'm throwing off balance, I do a fast. And I may do a fast, water fast for 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. My mental starts to kind of like recalibrate. My emotional starts to recalibrate as well, because it kind of puts you like in a deep thought. And also when you pray with it as well, it just kind of adds that extra layer. So for me, fasting has always been very beneficial. I will say additionally, ever since I fasted like a long time ago and I end up losing like a ton of weight, that was the healthiest I ever felt. Like mentally, emotionally, physically, that was the best 3 layers of my life where I ever felt when I was fasting. Do your research, look up fasting, and see kind of like the benefits of it. But that was the best I ever felt, was when I was actually fasting. And so it's something that I kind of enjoy doing, essentially, to kind of get that regrouping for the most part. So like I've been doing that. I did about a 4-day fast recently and kind of got recalibrated. It kind of helped me on my eating habits as well, because I'm in a very depressional state currently. I've been talking to my therapist, and I'm just in a very, 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 very depressional state. Additionally, I do have kind of like a lot of anxiety as well. So it's just been hard for me. It's just been hard. So fasting kind of, like I said, it helps me like calibrate. Is being selfish a bad thing? I don't think so. Me personally, I think being selfish is essential. I know from speaking for me personally, I have given a lot. I have given my last. I've given my all. I've done everything, and I haven't received anything in return. And I always say that people will only use you for what you can provide to them. And then once you cannot provide anything to them, they find someone else to essentially use. So I'm in a very selfish state right now. Like, you know, like the greatest saying is, you make time for what you want. You're right. I'm making time for my content, I'm making time for my myself, making time for my daughter. I'm making time for like what's important. And sometimes me having these relationships, or like me looking for like a girlfriend, or me like doing this, like serves me no purpose. Like literally does nothing for me. It doesn't benefit me. It disturbs my peace. So I think being selfish is essential. I think you have to pour back into yourself. I've been pouring for years out of my cup, and like I said, no one's ever refilled it. So I'm taking the personal time to ensure that I'm pouring into my own cup constantly. Like, and if anything is robbing me from that pour, whether it be like you disturbing my peace, my tranquility, whatever it is, I'm like removing it. Like I'm removing that away. I prayed and I was like, God, just kind of like remove or give me signs that I need to remove certain people from my life. And things are happening, and like when I fasted, my mind kind of like went into like this like cleaning state, like kind of like getting rid of the clutter. Like when you go through your email, start deleting stuff, and you kind of like, you're just getting like the main meat and potatoes for the most part. That's what I'm kind of like in my life right now, just removing dead weight. And it's not to be harsh or like creating hard feelings or anything like that. It's just being transparent in my life. You only get one life, and I'm not gonna like waste my time. I've wasted enough time. I'm not gonna continue to waste my time on other people robbing me of my life, and I could not wake up tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like when you start to think on a deeper scale about life, you only get one body, you only get like one mind. Like you don't get to do this again. So you have to be extremely calculated. And now I'm getting older, things are making more sense. Like I'm not feeding into all the drama. I don't really care about stuff at work, going on at work, like rumors, gossip. You just kind of learn to like not be fazed by the little stuff, because it doesn't matter. And I always use the 5-finger rule. So I do not worry about it if it doesn't fit on 5 of my fingers. I already have in my personal life, my daughter, profession, and stuff like that. Anything outside of the 5 fingers, I don't deal with it. So I think being selfish is being essential. Um, what was the last thing you read? I have a book. I can't remember the title of it, but I haven't read it. So I haven't read a book in a very, very, very long time. But I have a book. I can't think of the name of it, but I do plan on reading that one. It was like almost sold out. I went to like 3 different places. It was like low key sold out. So I finally found a copy. So it has to be a good book. So, would you rather cook or order in? To be honest, I do like cooking. I don't like cleaning up, but I don't know. It just takes so much effort, and it's like my life now is about convenience, and it's about like not what you bring into the table, but it's like more so for me. It's just convenience. Like I like being close to my job, so I'm willing to pay a premium to live closer to my job, but still be like safe. I enjoy being close to my gym. I want to be able to get to the gym, do what I gotta do, and come back out. I think that kind of goes back to the previous question where you only get one life, time is limited. So how am I maximizing my time? I have a lot of editing to do. I have a lot of everything to do, like communication, like brand deals, deliverables, stuff at work. So I try to make sure that my time is super impactful and super intentional, to say the least. So I will also like to order in. It's just convenient. Like I can just order my food. It is more expensive, but I do enjoy like just ordering food. How do you take your coffee? I've seen you drink a lot of coffee lately. I'm still trying to figure out. I'm not a coffee. I say I'm a coffee connoisseur, but I'm really not. It's just kind of like a joke. But I have enjoyed for myself, I say fasting for 16, 17, 18 hours. Having a coffee, kind of suppressing the appetite, giving me that caffeine boost, and then kind of like realigning my focus, and then maybe eating an acai bowl, and then eating a meal, then start back fasting. That's kind of been my routine for like the past like week or so. It's been very beneficial to me. I feel a lot better. I feel like I'm sleeping better. I'm not really like filling myself up with like a bunch of junk. I've been eating like really simple like steak, chicken, egg whites, asparagus, green beans, like, and fruit, and acai bowls and coffee. Like that's it. But I do enjoy basically going to a coffee shop and just asking like, hey, like, what's your number one seller? I went to Merit Coffee here in Dallas. Their number one seller, oh, lips feel like they dry. The number one seller was a cereal milk cold brew. Let me try it. I tried it, had Fruity Pebbles on top, amazing. Went somewhere else, got like a Vietnamese coffee, amazing. So it's just kind of like trying stuff. I know I don't like hazelnut and this and that, but I do try like the most popular sellers at coffee shops, and I like going around Dallas and just kind of getting different vibes and different perspectives, engaging with different people. People that work at like coffee shops seem to be, it's very chill, just very peaceful, just very, I don't know, it's just a vibe. So I have enjoyed that. I know I don't like super sweet stuff, but I'm liking the stronger, and I feel like the Vietnamese coffee for me has been stronger coffee because it doesn't have all that extra stuff in it. What's your favorite board game? I don't really have a favorite board game. Never was really like a huge fan of board games. I do like Uno, but there's so much confrontation when you play Uno. Like no one plays Uno the same. Like how I grew up playing Uno, if you got 16 draw fours, you can put all those down. You can stack colors, stack numbers, this and that. But people be getting so, you can't do that. It's just, I don't know. Like I play different, so that's like the only game that I really play. I don't really know how to play anything else. Like Monopoly is cool. Hungry Hippos, that's not really a board game. That was cool. But I haven't really played much like many board games. Let's see. Do you collect anything? I think shoes. Yeah, I think shoes. I have an abundance of shoes. I think if you follow me on my social media, I think you know that I have a bunch of shoes. I do enjoy the history behind sneakers, and essentially like, how old they are, the story behind them, like the player that wore them, how they personally impacted my life when I was a kid. Me growing up and like my mom doing everything she can, and my father everything they could to make sure that I did not go without anything. So I think shoes. I think it's like a lot of history behind it. That's something that's I consistently buy is shoes, even old shoes. I've bought a pair of shoes that I cannot wear because they're so old, but I like the history around them, and I like when I saw the shoes how I had a flashback. How I had basically a flashback in my life, my childhood, of when I saw these shoes and how it made me feel. So since my stroke that I had, and for everyone that's new, I had a stroke, about a year and a half ago. Since my stroke, my memory has been very jaded. It's been very kind of like all over the place. So anytime that I get a memory that's jogged, I just think about it, and this kind of puts me like in a happy place. What's your favorite podcast? I don't really watch a lot of podcasts. I think the guy's name is like Jay Schmetty or something like that. I like Jay Schmetty. I think that's his name. I like his podcast. It's kind of like about peace. I'll watch certain people. Shannon Sharp, his podcast is cool, but I only watch like certain people as well. The only one that I'm really consistent on is like Lil Yachty's podcast. I don't really know why, but I just like Lil Yachty. I'm a huge fan of Lil Yachty. So that's just kind of like one of the ones that I just watch on a constant basis. What would your perfect meal look like? A good rare steak, like A5 Wagyu, rare or medium rare. Nice whipped potatoes, nice and fluffy, a little bacon, a little cheese, a little sour cream, a little butter, a nice hefty like mac and cheese, some asparagus, strawberry shortcake with some ice cream, and a water. That's like ideal. That's like ideal for me. Outside of soul food, I am a sucker for soul food. Fried chicken, yams, greens, mac and cheese, Kool-Aid, whatever, cornbread, like whatever, like that combo, undefeated. Fried catfish as well. Fried pork chop, pork has been hurting my stomach lately, so I don't know about that, but yeah. What's the best gift you ever received and why? I think the greatest gift that I ever received, it's gonna sound so cliche, it's my daughter. Material gifts are cool, like whatever, like you get a pair of Jordans, get some AirPods. I think when you're younger, it's cool because you're only looking like you're just looking like this, right? When you're younger, you're just like your hand, like the wall is right here on your face. Like you're not really interpreting life. You're putting more value in material things than you do like personal relationships. But it's different when you have a daughter or a child in general. Me being a dad, me being a girl dad. I saw my daughter come into the world. You know what I'm saying? Like I sat there and watched it happen, and seeing how she's growing up over the months and the years, seeing the personality develop, seeing the attitude, the mood swings, the growing up, the right from wrong, the learning, this and that. And she looks exactly like me too. So it's just different. It's just different when you walk in the room and you see, like, it's like you see your reflection. Like when I see my daughter, especially like if we both have like afros or hair in a bun or whatever, like when I see her, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm looking at myself. It's like, oh my God. It's just different. It just hits you different. So I think that's a gift that's going to essentially keep on, like it's going to keep on giving. Like it's never going to stop. I think it's going to be a lot of ups and downs, but those are gifts for me, like the positives and the negatives that I will face with my daughter growing up. Those are all going to be gifts for me until the end of time for me. So I think that's probably like one of my greatest gifts that I've ever received. This one has been like a favorite. I've kind of seen it on some other influencers' page. The question is, how do you feel about people copying content, whether they be others or yours? I don't know. Me, I get inspiration, but when you blatantly copy someone's content, it's really disrespectful, especially if you know the person. There's something that I've been dealing with personally, and I've been trying to figure out how to navigate it. And I actually had a chance to talk to a huge creator because he's having the same issue. Not with his like immediate people that he hangs out with, but with other people that he knows. And he can't figure it out either. I can't figure it out either. It's really annoying though. But when you think about it, like brands copy one another, artists copy one another. We about to scrape. But I don't know, like I feel like when you actually sit time and you find your niche and like that's your craft now, and like you spend time doing that, and then when someone blatantly just like copies it, it's one thing copying homework in college and high school and whatever. It's kind of like when you cheat, like when you study for your test in high school or in college, and you see someone cheating, and you know that you worked 6 hours a day to study for this final or whatever, and then someone else had to put in no time, just copied and got the same grade. It's just kind of like it's a little deflating. It's really deflating. It's very frustrating, and I haven't figured out how to navigate through that. I've talked to a few people, but it just keeps being annoying when people keep sending me pages where like some of my content is being copied, my style is being copied, my wording, like my captions, like are being copied word from word. I think it's one thing to say that I inspired your outfit, right? You know what I'm saying? Like shout out to the Mr. GQ, like he gave me the inspiration for this outfit. It's one thing if you give credit, kind of like when you write your paper, right? At the end, you write your, I forgot what it's called, but you write, I haven't wrote a paper in so long. You write like your paper, and then you give where you got your sources from. Like you're giving credit to that person. But when you don't give that credit, it's like, what's wrong with you? Like where's the disconnect? You know what I'm saying? It's really hard to mentally and emotionally handle. So it's something that I'm still trying to navigate and still figure out. I think it's one thing for me, it's just more so like a compliment, right? And I think also people see my content and they see my community and this and that, so they want to copy it because they think they're going to get the same views, or they just focus on views. But I've prided myself on building a community, not just chasing a number of followers. So when people decide to copy my content, copy my style, do this and that, thinking that they're going to get the same outcome and they don't, it's kind of like, doesn't feel too nice to you. It didn't work, did it? Okay. So it's something that I'm still like trying to think how to navigate through. How old were you when you started working? I started working when I was 17. My first job was Academy Sports and Outdoors. I was making like $7.50 an hour. I was excited. I had went out and bought a car and did this and that. Times were different back then, but yeah, first job was Academy Sports and Outdoors. I worked in the footwear department, of course, and I worked there for a very long time. Let me see. Oh, getting a phone call. Let's see. There's a lot of good questions on here. Oh my gosh, hold on. Would you go vegan, vegetarian? No, because I'm very picky on this video. I'm very, very picky. Vegan, vegetarian, no, that's just not for me. I'm just very picky. Me eating rice and beans and nothing but carbs. I'm very carb sensitive. My body is very carb sensitive. So for me, no, it wouldn't be beneficial. Like I'm not eating. No, it's not gonna work for me. Let's see. Click on one. I'm trying to scroll through. Do you have a favorite holiday? Why not? I do and I don't. Since my mother passed away, holidays for me have been shot. Now that I have my daughter, I think it's just trying to see and grasp what holidays she likes, right? And I think when my daughter figures out what holidays that she personally likes, that's gonna basically like push me to that next level where it's like, all right, like I like Christmas. I think my daughter, like when she understands like the concept, and I think seeing her like on Christmas, and I think her going through the same thing I went through when I was younger is gonna be very cool. Like seeing her like before Christmas, like Christmas Eve, and like getting a present, doing this, birthdays, all that stuff, Thanksgiving. I think being able to see her develop in her holidays, I get the chance like to kind of like relive that. So we're gonna do one more question because this video is 25 minutes already. We're gonna make it good. Let me see. Dating in Dallas. That one's tough. I've talked to a few other people, like content creators, male and female. I think for me, and what I've kind of experienced since my time, even like when I first got to Dallas, right? Dating in Dallas is hard. I think a lot of it is some people don't have standards. On top of that, some people don't know like what they want. And if you're talking to a guy or a girl and they don't have a clear idea of what they want and what they need, it's going to be really hard to build that foundation. I think for me, the longer that I create more of my solitude, it just kind of puts me in this place where I don't want to be bothered with nobody. I don't want to be treated like a child. I have standards. I've been through a lot of relationships, kinda. I've had a lot of experience, so I know what I like and what I don't like. I had women reach out to me that just like the image of me, right? They like the idea that I'm an influencer or whatever. So they like the idea of being like arm candy or this and that. I've had people that just wanted to have a physical exchange so they can say that they had me because I'm like I'm like an idol in their life, right? Then you come across the people that are, like just want to have fun. They don't really know what they want. They just want to date and just kind of move on to the next. You have people that just want to get free meals. You just have like a huge array of variety. And I think, like I said, I think it just boils down to like no one really knows like what they want. And some people think that what this person's going to tolerate, the next person will, and that's not always the case. So I kind of pride myself on just being like isolated. I'm like when I first got here, like, I talked to a few people, but then I was like, why? And I was like, this is like, and every story I hear, like my friend told me he had a hard time. He trying to talk to some girl and she going out on dates every night, getting free meals. And it's expensive for a guy to take out a girl. You have to understand from a guy's perspective, some of these women, this is not all the women, but some of these women are just talking to people to get free meals. Like there was a woman that commented and said like a lot of these women out here are broke and they just trying to like navigate. And I just thought that was funny that it came from like a woman, but like it's expensive for a guy to take you out just to see if you like me, and you spend $100 or $50, like that adds up for a guy, and that adds up for a girl, as well. So I think a lot of people are just honestly, like for us Dallas, I think everybody should just need to like focus on themselves. And I think once you really sit down and focus on yourself, everything else will make sense and you can actually give 100%. I think people are trying to be in relationships or date people with no foundation. They just want the title. They just want to jump into it. Additionally, on top of that, outside of you not having foundation, you not knowing what you want. Like you not knowing your own standards. You're expecting like the next person that treated you, or like the last person that treated you a certain way, you're expecting the next person to do the same thing. And maybe that person didn't treat you right. I think people just need to really lock in, just like figure out themselves, because you can't be with no one if you can't give them 100%. If you're not 100%, you can't give me 100%. So you have to be able to give 100% to someone to fluidly have a good foundational experience and a good relationship. I think people want that microwave. They get on Instagram, get on social media, and they get blinded by like what reality actually looks like when it comes to dating. It's just kind of like simple. I think everybody wants these old style relationships like your parents and your grandparents had, but it's a different time. You have more access to women, more access to women, more access to guys. You have more options. you can kind of like see and choose. And I think people, it's just too many distractions. It's just too much noise out there, plain and simple. So there's way too much noise. So you got to find out how to minimize the noise and really like focus on something. Like if you know these are the top 10 things that you need in a relationship, things that you want, then I think you should chase that and focus on only that. But I also believe that you can't settle either. And I think a lot of people settle. I am guilty of settling as well. But I know one thing that I will not do anymore is settle. I'd rather be single than settle. I'd rather be single than treated like a child. I'd rather be single than take like less communication, people not understanding. Like I have a list of standards, and like I'm okay just not finding that. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But what I'm not going to do is like force something. I'm really big on just being organic. So I answered a few questions, so we'll keep these going. So as always, like, comment, subscribe, all of that. But I'm gonna ask more questions on my Instagram, so please follow me on my Instagram, on my TikTok, Snapchat as well. And I'm gonna be posting questions, so if you have anything, just DM me. I will add it to this list, and then we will answer them. Catch you in the next one.